And here is a live look at the White House tonight, where President Joe Biden has ordered the flag to half-staff in Carter's honor. He spoke earlier tonight.
This is a sad day, but it brings back an incredible amount of good memories. Today, America and the world, in my view, lost a remarkable leader.
Biden says he will have a state funeral for Carter on January 9th, which will also be a national day of mourning. President-elect Donald Trump said on Truth Social that Carter did everything in his power to improve the lives of all Americans and that we owe him a debt of gratitude. Carter also had a great impact on Wisconsin. TMJ4 was there when Carter picked former Governor Patrick Lucey as his ambassador to Mexico and was oftentimes with Lucey's successor, Martin Schreiber. Governor Tony Evers tonight calling Carter a dedicated advocate for peace, human rights, and treating others with dignity, decency, and respect. And it was June of 1989 when then President Jimmy and Rosalind Carter teamed up with Milwaukee's Habitat for Humanity with an ambitious goal. With 1,000 volunteers, they set out to build 5 homes here in the city's Walnut Hill neighborhood in just 6 days. And here to talk about that impact and the lasting legacy of former President Carter on Milwaukee is Brian Sonderman, the Chief Executive Officer of Milwaukee's Habitat for Humanity. Brian, thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, first and foremost, thinking about those 6 days in 1989, let's begin with what you believe is most notable about the Carter's work here in Milwaukee. What stands out to you about that Carter Work project?
Well, a lot. First of all, Milwaukee Habitat had never built a new construction home before that week. So that was a big undertaking. When President and Mrs. Carter came to Milwaukee, it was the 5th Carter Work project. They would go on for 30 plus years to do that work, not only in the United States, but around the world. So we were one of the first cities that they came to. 1,000 volunteers, 6 homes built in 1 week, 8 more rehabbed in that time frame. We got to the end of the week, or middle of the week, and it was rainy, it was bad weather. President Carter, when he got into his 90s, was still volunteering. If you came and worked on a work project with President Carter, you had to bring your A game. He demanded hard work, and so there was no time off. And so when he got to a stage in the week and he thought those homes weren't going to be done, he was angry. He wanted to do something to get those homes done.
And he worked into his 90s, as you just mentioned. I mean, do you think the work that was done here in 1989, is that legacy still felt today?
Oh, absolutely. That was really the point in time in which Milwaukee Habitat took off. It was almost essentially an all-volunteer run organization. And from that point forward, there was tremendous growth in the organization because it drew so much attention to the work that we do at Habitat. He did that not only in Milwaukee, but around the country. And so through his work and his service, his legacy is that we've been able to serve over 1,500 families.
Wow.
In the 40-year history of Habitat. That wouldn't have happened without President and First Lady Rosalind Carter's involvement.
And so my final question in closing here, what lesson do you think we can take away from the work that the Carters did right here in Milwaukee?
Well, I think politicians are always obsessed with their legacies. They're always thinking about what are historians going to say about my presidency. And I'm sure President Carter thought a lot about that. But when he thought about, and when people think about him, they'll think about President Carter in the White House, and they'll think about him on the build site. His legacy is love your neighbor as yourself. His legacy will always be serve your neighbor and make the world a better place.
A legacy felt tonight right here in Milwaukee. Chief Executive Officer of Habitat for Humanity for Milwaukee, Brian Sonderman, thank you for your time here on TMJ4 tonight.
Absolutely, thank you.
And Jimmy Carter was 100 years old. We will continue to share reactions to the news of his passing right here on TMJ4 News.